Good evening, Rope Breakers. Welcome to another edition of React After Raw here on Rope Break Wrestling's YouTube channel. Great Raw. We're going to get into it here. We got a small panel today, but there's enough ego in this panel to fill it up for everybody. The legendary Aussie, how are you tonight, my friend?
I'm doing great, man. You say a small panel, but you and I are a pretty big deal.
We are a big deal. We are a big deal. And of course, I'm your host, Alec. Matt is not here tonight with us. I'm sure he'll be back with us next week, week after. Who knows with this kid anymore? He's always running around disappearing. Nobody knows where he is. Matt, if you're watching, what's up, brother? Hope you're doing all right. We're going to jump right into it here. We got a lot to cover. Go home episode of Monday Night Raw before Survivor Series. The show opens up with a recap, which they've been doing for a while now. And then, of course, the Authority opens Raw for the millionth time. And I took a lot of heat for this on our Facebook page, saying that the opening segment was too long. Here's my issue with it. They come out and they're cutting the promo, but it's the same promo they've been cutting for the past month. Just going on and on and on about the same point, saying, we're going to do this to Team Cena, we're going to do that to Team Cena, you should join the Authority. It's just, that's my biggest issue. It just dragged out, and it really seemed like it was going nowhere until Ryback came out, kind of made his statement, I'm playing for Team Ryback, and then rocking a new piece of attire, a weightlifting belt. Some people calling it out, saying, "Oh, look better on Hogan," blah blah blah, whatever. But overall, it they were just trying to drive the point home of that. We're going to take out Team Cena. The Authority is going to win. We can't lose. We're not going to lose power. This is what we're going to do. So, Aussie, you're watching that opening segment, and it's going on and on. What is your thoughts, as you're watching it?
To be honest with you, I'm thinking the same exact thing as you. I'm not seeing where these other people are coming from. It was definitely a long opening segment. Um, and we've had people complain before, which kind of had me confused as to, it seems like week after week after week we just get the Authority to open the show. Now, I'm not necessarily against that, but yeah, it was definitely a long segment. There was many people I know. I was doing the live tweet at Rope Break Wrestling on Twitter. A lot of people on Twitter were saying that it was an overdrawn opening segment too. So I was definitely with you, Alec. I don't see where you're getting the heat from.
Yeah, I mean, I don't either. I know the Rope Breakers are very opinionated, and we always appreciate that. Some of them saying, it's been longer opening segments than this. Well, yeah, that's fine, but the thing is, those segments progress the storyline, progress the characters, whatever. This just kind of didn't really do anything. It just made things stale, until we get that, Dolph Ziggler match, which is kind of where we're going next with this. The IWC is in a firestorm right now because their golden boy has lost the title, is shot down once again, really getting, I guess, using the term loosely here, buried. I'm not going to say he's buried. I'm using it loosely here. I don't want anybody jumping the gun. But really, he goes into the match and he just gets squashed for 20 minutes. I mean, he gets ambushed by the Stooges, and then, Rollins takes him out with the briefcase, and then, Harper just beats the hell out of him. And there was really no offense from Ziggler throughout that match, which was surprising to me. But, and then Harper picks up the win, and I didn't know how to feel about that. I'm not indifferent to it. I know, I was talking to Matt, and he wasn't happy about it. He even mentioned on Before the Bell that it's too early. Harper's not ready. There's no character development. We don't know who he is. I have to agree. We don't know who Harper is, except he's Harper from the Wyatt family, and now all of a sudden he's the IC champion. So it makes me wonder what the point is here, and we may see something in the future between him and someone else, but we'll get to that later in the show. So I know you posted on our Facebook about it. So you know he wins the title. What's your reaction?
Uh, you know, and I was on like I said before, I was on doing the live tweet on Twitter, and I made my opinion really heard there. I like Luke Harper. He's got a lot of potential both on the mic and in the ring. He's an excellent worker for a big guy. He's the total package. I just don't think now is the time for him to take the strap, especially the IC title. Um, and yeah, I posted on the Facebook page that IWC people were torn because I know they love Luke Harper, as much as they like Dolph Ziggler. So it's kind of like we're happy Harper won, we're sad that Ziggler lost. But I just don't think it's the right time. I don't think he's the right character for that belt right now. But I understand why they put the strap on him. They're trying to stack the deck to make you think that Team Cena has no chance. And to be honest with you, I thought that that's how we were going to exit this Go Home Raw, was just driving home the point that Team Cena had no chance at all. And, I'm kind of confused by the ending, which I guess is good because now it's kind of up in the air again. But before, with traditional booking, you saw Ziggler lose the IC title, and you're like, oh, now I'm almost thinking that Team Cena has to overcome and win at Survivor Series just because they're
Right.
stacking the deck, so high against Ziggler, Sheamus, Big Show, all of them. But with the ending of Raw, I think that was effective. So as far as Harper goes, that remains to be seen. It all depends on how long they keep the title on him, I guess, for me, to be honest with you, because I just don't know where he's going with it as far as a feud. Is it just going to be a return feud with Ziggler? Or are they going to have a feud with Rowan now? It remains to be seen. I guess the jury's out, but as of right now, I'm not sold on it. I don't think it was the right time or the right character. We just don't know. That was the first singles match for Luke Harper since he came back from the
Right.
Wyatt family. I just don't think you throw a title on somebody like that quick without really developing the character.
Right. I mean, it's not as impactful either. Sometimes they'll bring guys in first night in, they win a championship and it works. Other times it doesn't. It doesn't because we knew him as part of the Wyatt family for so long. And like both you and Matt have pointed out, it's not time. It's too early. We just need to know more about the character and who he is before he really has a chance to go on and hold a title. So it remains to be seen what happens with that. And Rope Breaker posed a situation slash question on our Facebook, saying maybe Ziggler turns heel on Sunday, joins the Authority as kind of like, well, if I get this, I'll join you. And he wants to know what we think. Like, is it possible he turns heel to get his IC title back, or is it just a far fetched idea?
I don't think that's happening at all. I don't see that um, at all because what would that say about their allegiance to Luke Harper, somebody that was loyal to them? I don't
Right.
see them necessarily, hurting Luke Harper in a sense by trying to, get Ziggler the title back. All this time they've been against Ziggler. I don't see a heel turn for Ziggler. Um, to be honest with you, I think when Ziggler turns heel, it'll be when he's ready to go back to that main event push. But until then, I don't see him turning heel. Definitely not at this pay per view. Although, I'd like to be surprised. I don't like to always be right with my predictions. I
Right.
am still a fan at heart and would like to be wrong here and there, but I just don't see a logical reason or way for him to turn heel right now. I don't think it would make sense at all.
I absolutely agree with you there. Like you said, it just doesn't make sense right now. It's not the right time. If he were to be heel, it would be, if they were to give him a main event push again. So the verdict's out on that. Doesn't We don't see a heel turn anytime soon in Dolph Ziggler's future. Let's get these out of the way. The Grumpy Cat segments.
Oh no.
Grumpy Cat with the Miz. Um, didn't really care, and then you have the one with Rowan. I want that kitty. Again, I really don't know what they're doing with Rowan. It doesn't add up. It just not add up at all.
I
I
think you're really, I think you're, spot on with what everybody's thoughts are, and that's a good thing about this show, is Alex not afraid to just come out and say that. What the hell is going on here? Um, I'm on the same boat as you. I just I don't get it. I don't get these characters. and they've done in the past. They've done the same thing with Harper, where the guy talks like he's a third grader. I don't understand. Does that like mean that you're big and bad because you can only say 3 words? Um, you
But
know, it,
supposedly they're fixed. Bray Wyatt fixed them, but yet they can't put together a coherent sentence.
yeah, right. Yeah, they're fixed, yet they have the same exact attire and, pretty much the same characters. Luke Harper can speak one day, and then the next day he can only say, "I'm a loyal player." And then, same thing with, uh, you know, and before I go into Rowan, the whole loyal player thing, I immediately thought of Teddy Long, like with
Yeah,
the way he said player.
we all
Like,
did. We all did.
I'm a loyal player. But yeah, Rowan, same thing. Last week he says to Renee Young, "Oh, pretty." It reminds me of the whole Rock segment when Kane had first come into WWF, and the Rock was picking on him by with the voice box.
Yeah.
Name is Kane. I am a Rudy Poo candy ass. It just, you don't need to be a complete idiot. Like for whatever reason, they think to make a monster, they can only be a man of few words, and that's not necessarily the case. Just because Andre the Giant had, trouble talking, doesn't mean that every big guy after him needs to, say 3 words and that's it. But
I absolutely agree.
as far as the Grumpy Cat segments go, I was really worried about it. I was really, thinking, oh Jesus, how are they gonna fuck up the show with this? I liked the Mizdow segments. I can't say I
Right.
didn't. I think they did those well, for what it's worth. I mean, at the end of the day, if you said, would you take those segments or just take a show without Grumpy Cat? I would still take the show without Grumpy Cat. But if the Grumpy Cat had to be on the show, that was a good segment. The Mizdow segment with, the stunt double cat as well. That was pretty funny. But next week is the real question with Larry the Cable Guy. That's got me
Yeah.
shaking my head.
We can only begin to imagine what's going to happen there, seeing as how I'll probably be there to promote Jingle All the Way 2 with Santino Marella. So it'd be surprising to see if Santino shows up. Don't know why they made a sequel to that movie. I don't. I don't know what fucking geniuses at WWE Studios and NBC Universal decided, oh, hey, guess what? We're going to take one of the best Christmas movies of all time, and we're going to make a sequel with Larry the Cable Guy and Santino Marella.
Yep, they really
I,
fucked that one up.
I don't get it. I know Matt weighed into this Friday on Before the Bell, and I just have the same thought. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. Close down the fucking movie studio. You know, close it. You know, Matt and I always joke. One of these days, we're going to get to the Marine '92, starring John Cena, and he'll still be trying to save the world, and it's just close it down. Just, oh my God.
They wanna cut costs, and they got to fire all these talents and whatnot. It's like, get rid of the shitty ass movies that you put money into. Fucking the Christmas Bounty. Like, what the fuck?
Oh, I I don't understand these people. Damn creative.
And fucking our own Mitchell Jones was saying on YouTube, Grumpy Cat can take David Arquette's place for best celebrity to hold the championship.
Excuse me while I retire from this show and go jump off my roof.
Just because Matt's not here tonight, I'll say it for him. I quit.
Yeah, I quit. Oh man, we need him here to say I quit, but we're gonna jump along here. We're gonna kind of skip over that awful Adam Rose versus Tyson Kidd match with the bunny humping Adam Rose.
Yeah,
We're
what
not
the
even gonna go there.
fuck?
It just we're
It's
not
just more shit that just
again.
makes you go, why? Like,
Again,
what did that have to do with anything? That was just
you
so
know,
stupid.
I can imagine Matt was probably sitting at home and he's probably going to talk about this on Before the Bell. He's going to rip into creative about it. I can imagine it now saying, who the fuck thought that this was a good idea to have a bunny go out and hump Adam Rose? It, It's just, oh, again, I don't know.
Following the Facebook page, my post about I had to do it on Twitter. I had to tweet out that there was rumors before that the bunny was Darren Young, and after
Right.
he was humping Adam Rose, it seems to be confirmed that Darren Young is in fact the bunny.
Oh man, poor Darren Young.
With that, I'd like to say that Rope Break Wrestling and myself have nothing against gay or lesbian people. We're one for all for one. We love everybody. As long as you like wrestling, we're down with you.
Absolutely. Interesting, interesting part here with Bray Wyatt. Here's the worst thing that happened. I'm sitting here watching Raw. This Bray Wyatt promo comes on. My power goes out.
Oh, jeez.
So I'm missing this segment. My power comes back on. I'm like, oh great, I probably haven't missed much. Power goes back out. I'm like, oh, okay. Goes out 3 times before it finally comes back on. Great living in the Glove City. So finally, I get to catch up on it on another site, and Bray cuts a decent promo about how people who have nothing to love really have nothing to lose, and that's kind of Dean Ambrose's misery. And as I mentioned last week, I like how they kind of go into the real life aspect of Dean Ambrose's character. Mentions that his mother was drowning in her own misery, hinting at substance abuse problems, and then mentions how his father is in prison. Whether that's true or not, we don't know, but still, it obviously affects the storyline in a big way. And then I loved Ambrose's promo, really at the end. Oh, I did some magic. I pre-recorded this video. I'm in the arena right now. I thought that was genius. I thought that was brilliantly written. And then, of course, the attack happens afterwards. Definitely builds the hype towards this match at Survivor Series. And, kind of before, it was really a slow build up to it. But now we're at a point where it's really starting to come together. Bray's starting to get more, uh, I guess, coherent back on the mic, finding his rhythm again. So it's starting to look like it's going to be a good feud. Don't know how long it's going to last, but I hope that we do see a good match on Sunday. So you're watching the promo. What did you think when this went down?
I'm in agreement with you. At first, I'm thinking, I've over the past couple of weeks, I've been thinking they're not giving this feud enough time. It seems like they're giving it ample time on SmackDown.
Right.
I was at SmackDown last week, not this past Friday, but the Friday before or the Tuesday before, so the last taping, I guess. No, 2 weeks ago. Either way, and they gave Ambrose and Wyatt a significant amount of time on SmackDown. It was like almost the main entree on SmackDown. Fast forward to Raw, and it's like, it's a side dish on Raw, which is really a shame because these are two of the future top guys. It could be argued
Absolutely.
that they're top guys right now. I just don't think they're investing enough time in it. I like the fact that they're making the Survivor Series match so important, but I would like to have seen a little more time for this match, or for this feud to build up. But I agree. I like the way Ambrose cut in there. Corey Graves had a funny tweet on Twitter. He mentioned when Ambrose said, I filmed this on my buddy's cell phone before Corey Graves tweeted out, Ambrose's buddy's cell phone takes really high quality video. But I'm excited for this matchup. I'm hoping for a good match. I'm really hoping to see some really good in-ring work out of Wyatt in this
Absolutely.
match because we've seen so much good of him on the mic, with the promos, with the vignettes, and he's had flashes in the ring, but to be perfectly honest with you, I'm still waiting for that one breakout Bray Wyatt match that I can say, wow, that's the next guy here.
Absolutely
You know,
agree.
and I haven't always been impressed with Ambrose either. I've taken a lot of heat from that. I think his in-ring style is a little bit quirky, a little bit unorthodox, but I think these two could really gel together in the ring. Although I hope this feud doesn't last too long because I don't think these two are really meant to be. You know what I mean? As far as a feud goes, It's kind of an odd pairing. It's kind of like the two odd men out right now. And to
Hmm.
be honest with you, I think Ambrose has lost a little bit of steam entering this feud from what he had with the Cena Rollins thing. And I don't want them to lose steam with Dean Ambrose here because it's going to be very easy for them just to throw him on the back, the bottom shelf. And forget about him when he was really on the verge of, becoming a top moneymaker there.
Right, and it's really poor booking on WWE's part because he, like you said, he did have so much steam from that Cena Rollins feud, and then everything happened at Hell in a Cell, and there was so much hype after Hell in a Cell for this feud, and now it's trickled out. So I mean, we'll see what happens. Hopefully we do see something good come out of this. Hopefully we do, see this kind of move in a positive direction and then quickly dissipate. We don't want to see this drag on too long. Not into I can see it maybe going to TLC. I don't think it'll be anything around Royal Rumble, and hopefully it won't be a thing at the god awful WWE Fastlane.
Jesus Christ.
That's another story for another day. Awful name for a pay-per-view. Mitchell Jones weighing in, that fell flat to me. Intensity was like a 4. Really expected something cool with Ambrose turning the games on Wyatt, but it didn't play out like I wanted. Not a bad point. When you're playing mind games every week, and then you try, Ambrose tries to play back and it doesn't really come through like it should. Mitchell, I can see where you're coming from for sure on that. We're going to quickly move along here now. Match that kind of really, I don't know how to put into words, but Ryback versus Cesaro, it just didn't work. It didn't. The pacing was off. It just wasn't working. Ryback got gassed really fast. I mean, he even botched the European uppercut towards the end of the match. I
Ugh.
mean, it was a disaster, and the guy just looked awful. I mean, he came back and looked great, and now he's just kind of, I don't know. He's just not. He doesn't have the same energy he did. I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe it's that belt that's sapping all his power away. Maybe I don't know what he's doing, but this match just fell really flat. It was really sloppy. It just wasn't good at all. I mean, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. And the weird thing about it is, a couple weeks ago on SmackDown, we saw these two match up, and it was a really solid match. I just don't understand what happened tonight. And the other thing is, I just don't understand the logic here. They must really have something against Cesaro, um, because, in my opinion, if you're trying to build a guy like Ryback right now, you're trying to have him in squash matches. So Ryback should be in a match with a Justin Gabriel or some other jabroni that doesn't even need a cup of coffee on the main roster. There's no reason it benefits nobody. I mean, it does benefit Ryback in a sense to beat Cesaro, but not like that. It would benefit everybody much more if you threw a guy like Justin Gabriel in there or some jobber in there with Ryback. Ryback eats him within 2 minutes, and he continues, sort of like the Goldberg build in WCW, just devouring people, devouring people. There's no need to take a guy like Cesaro. It's got a lot of talent that could be building something himself with another jobber or with another mid-card guy. There's no reason to deal him losses to a guy that was just in a tag team with Curtis Axel not that long ago. I know that we're building Ryback here, and believe me, Ryback made a lifelong fan when I met him at SmackDown. He was a really classy guy, awesome dude. But it's like it's being forced. It's being forced.
Right.
It's not something that everybody was calling for. Everybody was calling for Cesaro to get this push, and it's kind of like, oh, Ryback's back. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. We're gonna force him on you. I think there's some changes that they need to make. I said it on Facebook, or no, I said it on Twitter. I don't understand why guys come out you know, in the opening promo, Ryback comes out. The guy's in full gear, ready to wrestle right there, right then and there. And the belt I thought looked stupid on him with that singlet. Just didn't make sense. No shit, it looked better on Hogan because he was wearing a better getup with it.
He
Like
was
who the
wearing
fuck have
fucking
you have you ever gone to a gym and seen a dude in a singlet like Ryback with a weight belt on? Like they just don't go together. It's like wearing fucking sneakers and a suit. It just doesn't go together. Um, I I just referenced the days when I know you remember, Alec, when guys like Edge and The Rock and Stone Cold, even Dean Ambrose come out in the beginning for whatever, whether it be their promo or their opening segment or whatever. You don't need to wear your ring gear.
no, not
Make
at all.
yourself a little more relatable. You know what I mean? Ryback could have easily come out in a pair of jeans and that vest and that winter hat that he used to rock. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, it would have made a lot more sense. Would have made him a lot more relatable.
As far as
Uh,
the match goes, though, you're right. Just didn't gel for me. I didn't enjoy it. It was disappointing. People on Twitter were disappointed. And that's not good for either of them. So again, throw a jobber in there, let Ryback devour him in 2 minutes, and move on with the push here.
I absolutely agree. And here's my question, kind of a thought I had. Is Ryback taking the place of Roman Reigns in this current situation? Because Roman Reigns was supposed to be getting the big push. There was the rumored match with Triple H at Survivor Series. Obviously, the injury happened, and now Ryback is sort of in a similar situation where he's the powerhouse wrestler. You know, he's kind of on his own, doesn't really cater to the authority or anybody else. So is he taking that place until Reigns comes back in late December?
That's a really good point. I didn't. That's not even crossed my mind whatsoever. But I think you hit the nail on the head there because even what he's saying, he's Team Ryback. He doesn't care about Cena, whatever. That's exactly what Roman Reigns was, pleading before he left. Is I'm in this for myself. Blah 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 blah. I suck on the mic. I'm still wearing the Shield outfit. My song sucks. Whatever. Same old shit. Uh, yeah,
Uh,
I'm in agreement with that. And it's funny because same thing that was wrong with Roman Reigns is wrong with Ryback. He's not relatable. He doesn't speak on the mic enough or properly, and he's going to have a renewed push. Yet nothing's different about the guy. If you want to show me that this Ryback is better than the old Ryback, you need to change something. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
You don't just fucking you don't just come out with the same old shit. You know what I mean? Like this shit doesn't smell any better than the shit that was taken last year.
I absolutely agree. I don't know what's going on in creative. I'm sure Matt has his opinions. We all have our opinions, but he has some strongly worded opinions, definitely towards creative. And you can always hear that on Before the Bell. You can always check out the Sharpshoot with Aussie for his opinions on everything WWE. But we're gonna move on here. You know, we get to the third hour of Raw now, and Big Show out in the ring, getting ready to start his match. Stephanie comes down and trying to get him to join the Authority and give him, hey, you can be the first active member of the roster to join the WWE Hall of Fame. You know, obviously it wasn't going to happen, but you know, I suspect it'll be John Cena who will be the active member of the roster to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm pretty sure it'll be that guy at some point. And then Sheamus comes out trying to defend Big Show, defend Team Cena, whatever. Shut up, Sheamus. We don't want to hear you talk. But Stephanie brings up the visa issues, and it's something that's happened in the past with certain superstars. I know Bad News Barrett had it happen where his visa wasn't canceled, it wasn't denied, but he couldn't wrestle on TV because of visa issues, so he could only appear cutting the promos. Honestly, if Sheamus had visa issues, it would be great for all of us.
That's an understatement.
But I'll leave it at that. And then of course, they announced the match of Big Show versus Sheamus for a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship. We all knew that was never going to happen. They get attacked by Rusev and Henry, and then Sheamus gets taken out with a World's Strongest Slam through the table, and ends up in a local hospital supposedly. Um, Glad he's out of the Survivor Series match. And if you don't know by now, guys, Rope Break is not a fan of Sheamus. We never have been. We never will be. And don't try to convince us. Don't try to make us change our mind. It's not going to happen.
Yeah,
It'll
it's always.
never happen. To us, he's shitmas. That's what he's always going to be. So, Aussie, I want to know this match happens, the interference happens. So, at this point in the show, what do you think is going to happen with Team Cena before, the ending happens?
I just first off, I didn't understand why Stephanie would even bother throwing in the whole WWE World Heavyweight Championship stipulation into the match. It made zero sense after we find out that it was never going to happen anyways. All it did is confuse viewers because everybody's going, well, wait a minute, John Cena's the number one contender. You know, what's this mean? Are they going to fight it out? Blah, blah, blah. It confused viewers, and it also then pointed out, hey, everybody, our fucking champion's not on TV again. Um,
Absolutely, yeah.
you know, but that's a story for a different day. But when I see Sheamus go through the table, I'm almost there for a second, hoping that Team Authority wins and that I can see the Authority open every single Raw for the rest of my life. There was also a point in the match where, and I hate to admit this, I'm a terrible human being. I really am. But there was a point in the match where Big Show flipped Sheamus over the top rope, and Sheamus landed pretty hard. And I was like, for a split second, I said, "Oh shit, is he hurt for real? Please be hurt."
Oh,
What
man.
happens that? I really don't have any shame in it though. Um, the match was obviously shit. The crowd was dead. Um, Rusev came out.
Most of the night.
Uh, when
Jesus.
Rusev and Henry came out, it honestly saved the day because that match was absolutely terrible. That might have been worse than the Nikki Bella AJ Lee match. What I mean? Which usually you say the Divas match would be on the lower end of the card, but Sheamus and Big Show, uh, two of the I don't want to say worst workers because Sheamus isn't a terrible worker, but they're two lugs that don't have any. They have no move set. They
Right.
can punch people and pick people up and drop them. That's pretty much all they can do. One has a super punch and one has a super kick. That's all. That's all there really is to it.
I agree.
So those two should never be in the ring together against each other. But as far as Team Cena goes, I'm thinking, oh shit, Team Cena's being decimated. Maybe we see Bad News Barrett, join Team Cena at Survivor Series. I tweeted, I think the right way to have booked this would have been if they left it at a cliffhanger, like who the fuck's gonna join Team Cena? You have to watch Survivor Series to find out. You know what I mean? That's what gets eyes on the pay-per-view. And then I said that's when, it's 3 against 5 or 4 against 5 or whatever. And that's when you have Ryback come out and clean house, a la Stone Cold Steve Austin at Backlash. He'd come out, get a massive pop, clean the house, get the win for Team Cena. Shane McMahon comes shuffling out. He's in charge now. Everybody's happy. There's a big pop at the Rope Break headquarters.
I think that's a great way to book it, and somebody needs to hire you. Jesus. Better than these writers who used to work at the Food Network writing for Rachel. But, yeah, I mean, I totally agree.
That explains, not to cut you off, that explains why Ryback is getting the big push right now. Because the Food Network writers can relate with Feed Me More.
Oh, God. Oh, man. Whose idea was that, honestly? Like, oh, hey, this guy wrote for the Food Network and Rachel Ray. So we're going to have him come and write for wrestling, but he has no knowledge of the product.
Yep, that sounds like WWE.
Oh,
That's
man.
why I bought this hat. I'm so happy with them.
Oh, man. I don't get it at all. It doesn't really make any sense. I will go on the record and say that I will give Sheamus credit in the matches against Rusev. They were pretty decent. I was entertained, but other than that, I'm not giving them credit anywhere else. And here's the next little feud I want to talk about: the Bella feud with AJ. They mentioned that Bree's only got 8 more days to be the personal assistant to Nikki. Obviously, Nikki has that championship match on Sunday against AJ, and of course the rumors are stirring up again. These rumors happen once a month that AJ is going to leave WWE, and yeah, so the rumors now, if AJ loses, she's gone from the company. She's only booked up to certain dates. I think it's TLC. I don't know, but these rumors happen at least once a month. So with the state of the way things are, and of course, every time AJ gets in the ring, there's a CM Punk chance. Is there a chance she leaves?
You know what? I might take heat for this, but at this point, I really don't even give a shit. They haven't done anything proper with her anyways lately.
Right.
You know what I mean? We had the good Paige AJ feud, but it just doesn't. I don't know if it's just me, but it doesn't seem like AJ's really in it right now. It doesn't seem like her heart's in it. I don't know if that's because of the whole Total Divas thing and whatever the state of the Divas division. Maybe
Right.
that's really same thing that happened to CM Punk. He was just pissed off at the direction the company was going, and maybe AJ is just fed up with how shit's going. Maybe she's not going to go anywhere. I guess the rumors really sparked because she's undergoing a rebranding, calling herself AJ Brooks now instead of
Yeah.
AJ
Started
Lee.
her
Uh,
new website.
yep. But to be honest with you, if AJ Lee were to bounce, I'd be upset at first, but then a couple months down the road, it'd be the same thing as the CM Punk thing, Bon Voyage, somebody will step up. There's always Paige, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And when somebody like that leaves, it makes room for somebody else. So if you're not going to be in it 110%, AJ, then peace. You're really not going to bother me any. She's lost a lot of respect from me of late just because, um, first off, she was single. We were talking, we were texting, we were potentially going to go out on a couple dates, and then she blows me off for Phil Brooks, which is one thing. Um, Listen, AJ, don't go crying when he just walks away from your relationship. Either way, no, in all seriousness, um, she's, I guess,
Oh,
really not good with. I've read a lot of horror stories about fans' experiences with AJ. Apparently, she's a bitch.
wow.
If you meet her in person. I know she's got a no touching policy. Like even girls aren't allowed to like wrap their arm around her and shit for a picture because she like doesn't want cooties or some shit. It's like really. I mean, I could understand like some fat slob, like you don't want his hand on your ass, but a hand on your shoulder. Come on now, it comes with being, you know,
I
a
mean,
WWE
absolutely.
superstar. So get
What you
over it.
signed up for.
But really, I'm going on a rant here. I would be upset if AJ or left because she is an asset to the Divas division. She's one of the very few good technical wrestlers, female wrestlers that the company has. But at the end of the day, if that's what she wants to do, that's what she wants to do, and I can't be mad at her for it.
I mean, I absolutely agree. If that's, the life choice that she wants to make, then, that's fine. I'm sure there's other opportunities for her out there. Like her husband, CM Punk is writing for Marvel now, was on Talking Dead on Sunday. And he did send out a interesting tweet. I don't know if you saw this. I don't know if the Rope Breaker saw this, but he sent out a tweet kind of mocking all the fans who are pissed that he left. And the tweet was, I bought tickets to see Barry Sanders play, but he's not playing anymore. He still owes me 6 more concussions, kind of taking a jab at people saying, "Oh yeah, I left, but I was hurt, I was injured, I did it for me." Interesting because he's really been silent on it, for the past, pretty much since he left. So now he's kind of acknowledging the fact that people are upset that he's left and he's not coming back. So it's interesting to see his point of view on things, and maybe at some point down the road he'll open up and talk about what led to his departure.
Hopefully we get him on the Ross Report. That would, or the Stone Cold Steve Austin show, the Steve Austin show. One of those two avenues to just go out or even talk as Jericho, spill the beans. That would
Hmm.
be pretty sweet.
That'd be interesting, especially seeing as how both Talk is Jericho and Steve Austin show are really close with WWE. They're the only podcast that WWE lets their talents go on. So if he does go on one of those shows, their partnership with the company might be in jeopardy. Who knows? I don't know, but it would be interesting to see CM Punk show up one day and talk about what led to his departure. But until he talks, we'll never know. He's gone. We've gotten over it. Well, most of us have. There's still some of those who, went out and bought the CM Punk costume for Halloween and they wear it every day because they feel closer to CM Punk because they're wearing it. But, that's besides the point.
I'll tell you what though, if he really wanted to make some bank, write a book, Phil. Because I'll tell you
Oh,
what, that would be a fucking New York Times bestseller in a hot minute.
instant. The minute it came out on the
People in
shelves,
the
it'd be sold
IWC that have only read picture books in the past would be calling up their third grade English teacher like, Mrs. Myers, can you teach me how to read again? I want to read the CM Punk book.
out. I want to know what it's like to be Phil Brooks. He must lead such a difficult life. He seems so pissed off all the time on Twitter. Man.
Yeah, he's just a pissy guy. Phil, I know you're watching, dude. I know you're a big fan of React. I know you're a big rope breaker. Dude, pull the foot out of your ass, man. Jesus. Oh, sorry, he doesn't believe in Jesus. Well,
Can't
I
even
guess
go there with Phil.
you can't not believe in Jesus. Dude really existed. But I'm not going to get all religious on you, because I'm not religious either.
Well, CM Punk thinks he's Jesus, but that's besides the point. Straight edge society, but you know that that was we can't even talk about that because that was just killed faster than it started. But after that, we get the Big E vignette, the New Day vignette. It finally happened. So now we've seen all three vignettes. A new day is coming. So I'm interested to see when they show up. Do they show up at Survivor Series? After that I believe there's a tag match happening now at Survivor Series for the titles. Do they show up during that, or do they show up the following night on Raw? I don't know, but I'm glad WWE is finally moving forward with them and making it happen. And there's a lot of good talent there, a lot of good stuff going on. And there's a hilarious picture. What is that? Oh
There's
my
Grumpy
God,
Cat and New Day, man. The
that is
question
fucking
is,
hilarious.
The
Oh man.
question is do you think that they're going to be a tag team within this three piece? Do you think it's going to be Xavier being the manager to Kofi and Big E being a tag team, or do you think they're going to be like three singles or two a tag team and a single wrestler? What do you think?
I know there were reports a while ago that when they would wrestle at house shows as a team, and they always wore matching gear. They always wore matching red and white gear. And there might be pictures of it online somewhere from house shows. And so they would kind of split off into tag teams. I believe when Xavier and Kofi would tag team, they called themselves Speed Force. And then I believe it was when Kofi and Big E would tag team, they called themselves Muscle Bomb. I don't doesn't matter about the names, but I think it'll kind of be similar to the Shield where there will be singles, but there will be tags. It's iffy right now because we don't know anything about them besides from what we've heard at house shows that they're wrestling together. But this is a completely different thing. This is a new day, as they put it. I don't know where they're going with this.
My question is though, is the name of the faction, the stable, whatever you want to call them, is it really going to be a new day? Is that the name, or is that? I'm just hoping that that's like their basis, their premise. You know what I mean
Yeah,
of
that's
the
their tagline.
vignettes. God, I'm hoping that it's not like you've got the Four Horsemen, NWO, DX, the Shield, and a New Day. Like it doesn't stick to me.
Sounds like a crappy movie that WWE Studios would put.
A New Day, starring Shawn Michaels as God and Vince McMahon as Satan.
And John Cena and 300 Make-A-Wish kids. That was their dream, and now they're living it with John Cena. Oh man. If you haven't checked it out, there's a funny article on Kayfabe News that John Cena granted the Make-A-Wish to John Cena because John Cena was in the hospital because of a botched heel turn. But then John Cena was pissed off because he requested to see Dean Ambrose, but instead he got to see himself. I read it. I was dying. I love it. Oh man. Speaking of Cena, he cuts a pretty good promo with Ryback in the back, bringing up the whole, hey big man, no, it's the big guy. All right, the line's played out. It worked the first time. The delivery was good the first time. Don't do it again, creative. Do it once. It works. You don't need to bring it up. It's probably going to be on a T-shirt soon. Cash in on that. Whatever. It's probably trademarked, copyrighted, patented. They already got it. It's theirs. But John Cena said to him, the guy who wants to be fed more finally gets a shot to eat at the big table, and all of a sudden he's not hungry. That stuck out to me so much. It was such a good way to be like, hey, you're finally here. You're finally at a good point in your career, and all of a sudden you don't want to pick a side because you want to be selfish. And, again, it goes back to this could easily be Roman Reigns in this situation.
Yeah. I just wish Ryback would have hit him with shell shocked in that locker room and been like, I just feel like they're missing out on doing all the. We're always looking for the next, the next Rock, the next Stone Cold, the next whatever. It all has to do with character building and character development, and it's like, if you want Ryback to be this big bad, I'm all about myself and nobody else guy, you know what I mean? Then go for it. Don't sell him out and later on in the show have him join Team Cena. Fucking
Yep.
defeats the purpose of what you've been building about him being a fucking Team Ryback. That's it. Like literally, I've never met somebody that changes their mind like that within 3 hours. You know what I mean? Like, for 1 minute the guy has no interest, and then all of a sudden, like, what happened to change his mind? He just saw what was going on in the ring. Like, none of that would have changed my mind. I don't understand it. There has to be a logical reason why, like, we need to see Vince McMahon in Ryback's ear in backstage or something like that. You just don't like flick a fucking switch. Like, oh, you know what? I think I might join Team Cena after all. John made a pretty good point back there, about the buffet.
Oh man, yeah, you do make a good point. It doesn't make sense to have Ryback all of a sudden you say, I'm fighting for myself, and then all of a sudden I'm gonna join Team Cena now because the Authority are a bunch of bullies. Even though I was a bully once, and now I don't like bullies, so I'm gonna join Team Cena because he stands for hustle, loyalty, and respect, and I want to do that too. I don't get it. Like you said, he should have shell shocked him. He should have been just beating people up left and right. Obviously, he didn't do that. But we'll see what happens on Sunday, and that'll be an interesting enough match. Then you had that 8-man tag match, Usos versus the Dust Brothers versus the Bullfighters and the Miz and Mizdow. And now I believe that's going to be a match at Survivor Series for the titles. So here's my question: do we finally see the Ascensions show up? Because I know there's a NXT Takeover event coming up soon, or NXT Evolution, and that could be the Ascension's last show. So would this be a good time to bring them on to WWE main roster? I know Paige was on both rosters at the same time for about 2-3 weeks. So is this a good time to finally bring them up?
Dude, to be perfectly honest with you, if they brought them up overnight right now and put them on SmackDown, it would be the right time. It's been the right time for months. The tag team division has been suffocating, just dying. When you have to have basically all four of the existing tag teams are in this fucking tag team match at Survivor Series, and one of them, Los Matadores, like I don't understand what did they do to deserve a title shot? Get their asses whooped on TV a couple weeks, or fucking El Torito, leads them to a win here and there, and suddenly they're contenders. I don't understand. Um, it's just not how it works. It's like it brings me to that one commercial uh, with the old ladies talking about the Facebook wall. It's like, no, this is not how any of this works.
I'm unfriending you.
Yeah, yeah. It just doesn't work that way. What needs to happen, and it's like Alec, we do it on React, we do it on Sharpshoot, we do it on Before the Bell. It's fantasy booking all around, but it's like the shit just is so plain to see and so blind to see and just needs to happen. It's fucking elementary. A 5-year-old could write a better show. Fucking Ascension needs to show up at this event and wipe everybody out of the ring.
I absolutely agree.
You want to set an example? This tag team division sucks. Wipe all of them out. Ascension's fucking just sitting there with the titles. They just ate everybody. Next thing you know, TLC, they take the titles or whatever. But I have a feeling that we're going to have to wait until the Royal Rumble for the Ascension. I just have a gut feeling. I hope that's not the case, but I see them coming in at the Rumble or something and then winning the titles at WrestleMania. I don't know. We'll see. It just the match is going to be a fucking waste because Los Matadores just doesn't belong in there.
No.
I mean, I can understand Mizdow. They've got some momentum. They're entertaining. But Los Matadores is a fucking joke. They don't belong on the main card, let alone a pay-per-view title match. Doesn't make fucking sense. Like, just look at where they rank up against some of the tag teams over the years. You know what I mean? Like, in one era, you've got fucking trifecta tag team bouts that look like Edge and Christian, Dudley Boys, Hardy Boys, and you know what I mean? And the New Age Outlaws,
Evolution.
Yeah, Evolution, fucking APA, just totally fucking contrast, a disgusting contrast to what we see now, where you have literally, I'm pretty sure it's literally 4 teams, 4 tag teams, like that wrestle and tag teams on a consistent basis. Not talking about fucking Slater Gator that they throw together for 10 minutes and they shit the bed and they throw them out. I'm talking about teams that develop and stay together, and even Sandow and Miz might not even be able to be considered that. You know what I mean? Not to go on a rant, but you cannot have a tag team title and only have 3 fucking tag teams eligible to win the goddamn thing. You know what I mean? It's like, that's like field day when you're a kid and you're running the 50-yard dash and the top 3 people get the top 3 get ribbons and there's only 3 people in the race. So everybody's a winner. It's fucking stupid. You know what I mean? It doesn't. Desaturates, devalues it.
Oh, I absolutely agree.
I'd rather see them have the fucking cruiserweight title. There's more cruiserweights on the main roster than there are tag teams.
Oh, I absolutely agree. And that's my biggest gripe with this company is I like tag team wrestling when it's good, when there's good teams, when there's a good storyline. And now we don't have that. You have the Usos, you have the Dust Brothers, you have the Miz and Sandow, and then you have Los Matadores. You don't have anybody else to really make that viable. And for a while there, they were putting tag teams together left and right, trying to bring it back, and then all of a sudden, it just crapped out. So now you're in this situation, and because, there's not a ton of title matches on Sunday, you're going to decide, well, we're going to put every tag team together, and we're going to throw them in a match and see what happens.
It's a clusterfuck because the writing team, the creative team, hasn't thought about it, and then it's like, oh, shit, pay-per-views next week. What are we going to do for the tag titles? Fuck it, throw them all in a match together and, see who comes out as the winner. We know it's fucking probably going to be the Dust Brothers are going to retain. And to be honest with you, I'm sick and tired of them. I like Goldust. I don't like Cody Rhodes as the Stardust gimmick. I know, I'm like fucking Grumpy Cat on this show tonight.
I mean, I absolutely agree. They didn't do a whole hell of a lot of good booking this pay-per-view because you don't have your main you don't have your champion. You don't have your main champion there. He's off hunting fucking deer in Alaska and Canada, wherever the hell he is, talking to Dana White. I don't know what he's doing. Then, you have your IC champion who is now in the main event in the Survivor Series match. You have your US champion who's in the Survivor Series match. So unless they want these guys to pull double duty, you don't have any other title matches except the tag titles and the Divas title match. That's it. So really, you're devaluing again the US and the IC title to make them look like they're nothing and they're taking a back seat to everything else. Good job, creative. Give you a clap for that.
Yeah,
Right.
it's like they also have the straps on two heels that say less than a sentence apiece. They don't have a vocabulary. So it's like your main champion, not here, also only knows how to say about less than a sentence. Fucking IC champion and US champion, also both heels, don't know how to fucking speak. Goldust Stardust heels, fucking, they don't speak. They fucking, oh, fucking Cosmic McKee. You know what I mean? Like, AJ Lee is the only fucking champion that knows how to fucking piece together a sentence that happens to be a face. It's like, holy sheep shit on a shingle.
Oh man, it's dismal. It is dismal and it's disappointing. And I don't know what they're gonna do. They need a swift kick in the ass. But man, we got to get to the main event, of Monday Night Raw. That contract signing, Triple H opening up that kind of choking up there. I didn't really understand the whole reason behind that.
I
Trying to
thought that
say,
he forgot his lines for a
yeah,
second. I was looking away and just listening, and I'm listening to him, and he starts taking pauses. I'm like, no, fucking Triple H can't be fucking up his lines Randy Orton style here.
yeah. It was weird because we're so used to hearing Triple H cut such good promos, and all of a sudden he's choking up, not really getting his words out. Well, everything's on the line. We might lose everything. Okay, yeah, we get it. And then, he flips the switch, and we're gonna win. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. We got handed down a stipulation from the chairman, the CEO. But we can't lose. We can't lose power. And then, John Cena comes out, basically tells the authority, I see through all your bullshit. I see what you're trying to do. I did like how he kind of called everybody out. Kane to rip off Drew Carey. It was a lot of good stuff. Steph, you're like the new guy in the corner throwing up. I wouldn't mind feeding you sexual chocolate. Cena didn't cut a bad promo. And I always have mixed reactions when Cena comes out to cut a promo because sometimes it's good and sometimes it's Cena trying to be an awful comedian whose career failed 10 years ago and he's still trying to relive his past glory. Again, he did cut a good promo, so that was well worth it. And then it's just Cena versus all, and that was kind of could have been an idea for a Survivor Series, kind of something that I had in my head. One of my predictions that maybe he shows up alone, takes him out, looks big and bad, and then he looks strong going forward to face Brock Lesnar. Obviously, it doesn't happen because then you have Dolph Ziggler show up, and then the Big Show, and then you're like, oh, maybe Sheamus is going to come back from the hospital. Nope, you have Eric Rowan, and that was a huge shock because to me, they don't know what the hell they're doing with this guy. 1 minute, he's looking for some random girl, then he wants to take the cat, and now all of a sudden, he wants to face off with Team Cena and go after Luke Harper because for whatever reason he feels
Yeah.
betrayed. I don't know what they're trying to do. I'm glad they're maybe figuring out a direction for Eric Rowan. Maybe we'll finally see him get some in ring time, see him go after Luke Harper and have them feud. And we've talked about that before, on our shows. But again, I was really confused when it happened, and then when he went after and kind of pointed at Harper, he kind of starts to come together, and then you have Ryback come out, and then the brawl ensues. So it's really really an interesting situation going into Sunday. You have Team Cena standing tall, and like you mentioned earlier, it's kind of open ended. We don't know what's going to happen. We
Yeah,
don't know where it's going.
I know what you're saying. I like that aspect of it, but there's the ending segment for a the closing to a go home show for a Big Four pay-per-view. When I say Big Four, in quotes, because Survivor Series gets treated like the redheaded stepchild. Um, I wasn't impressed. I didn't care for John Cena's promo at all. I think that he, like you said, was trying to be his, two-bit comedian self. It's like you can't be serious 1 minute talking about how we're gonna kick your ass and blah blah blah. And I have passion for this. I could do I could pick four guys out of the crowd, blah blah blah. And then next thing you know, you're fucking fake puking and talking about sexual chocolate and blah. You can't do both. You know what I mean? Like that never happens in a real life situation where you go and you're the only dude. Like when has somebody ever been the only guy to fight versus like 7 or 8 people in the ring and he's talking shit and making jokes? No, it's a serious thing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like you don't have fucking four dudes to fight with you. You should be scared and serious about it. You should sell the fact that this is a big match, this is a big time match, and you don't want the authority to retain power. Instead, he's not logical. He's fucking, he's gonna do it himself. He's gonna do it with two children and two fucking jabronis in the crowd. You know, he's better than everybody in the match. And then I just don't like the way that he fucking makes fun of Mark Henry and all these guys. He degrades them and waters them down. So it's almost like, you know what I mean? When you look at the pay-per-view again, it's like, well, he doesn't take them seriously. Why should we? You know what I mean? He's the
Right,
one
you make an
fighting
excellent
them.
point.
He doesn't even take them seriously. Why do I need to think that they even have a shot if John Cena, is, a fucking jokester about it? Like, half of Miami thinks that if somebody pulled a gun on John Cena in the street, like he would start picking on their outfit. You know what I mean? Like, take it fucking serious. You know what I mean? Like, this is supposed to be a life or death situation here, and you're making jokes about it. It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? You never see that in a movie where like the main character is down to his last fucking breath and he's got 5 people hanging over him and he's like, fucking cutting jokes about people. It just doesn't make sense.
No, I absolutely agree, and you make a good point. It doesn't make sense, and it kind of waters down the pay-per-view because you do see the match on the card, and then you remember the promo, and you're like, well, and especially if you're a first-time viewer, if you're watching this Raw and you see that closing segment, and you see, okay, well, John Cena doesn't take these guys seriously, so they're obviously going to lose on Sunday. And that's a big thing, and that's a point I always stress. Like if you're a first time viewer and you're tuning in, how is this going to affect you? Because this obviously isn't going to draw you when you're doing stuff like that. You've got basically an army of people against one, and supposedly, that's it. But yet, you're not taking it seriously, and it's a big problem within creative. Something they really need to fix going forward. And that's a big word with Roman Reigns. Is he's supposed to be the next guy? He's supposed to get the next big push. He's supposed to lead the company into the future. But people are worried: is he going to be shoved down our throats like Cena was and follow in the same pattern? That Cena's in.
I hope not, man. I hope that when Roman Reigns comes back, they've done something different with him. I just really the one thing I'm really hoping for. I know he's been taking acting lessons. Um, the one thing aside from his mic work that I'm really hoping for is a change of attire. I think
Absolutely.
they really need to cleanse him of the Shield outfit. Ideally, they would have new theme music for him. But then again, if they're going to keep the return a surprise. They can't really have him come out to like a new theme song. You know what I mean? I think it would ruin the pop to a certain extent. So I expect like I don't know. I don't know when he's going to come back. I think at this point they should just save a return for the Royal Rumble. You know what I mean? But the fucking Kids Bop version of the Shield song really gets to me, dude. It really bugs the shit out of me. I don't know about you or anybody that's watching, but it's like, why not just keep the actual Shield theme song and ditch the Sierra Hotel India, Echo Lima
Right,
Delta
I agree.
Shield thing? Instead, they fucking totally water down the theme song and they water down his outfit. Like, the outfit is terrible. It's atrocious. Uh, I can't stand it. It makes my toes curl. Fucking makes me clench my fists. I hate it. I hate everything about it, dude. I can't explain it enough. That dude, I don't know if you've seen that 2K commercial where John Cena's narrating it.
Right, yeah.
You see Roman Reigns hitting the bag in there. He's got a little bit more of a beard, and it looks like he's doing something different. I can't tell really what the attire is, but that's a guy. I said earlier in tonight's show, you got people back in the day, Austin, The Rock, even Bret Hart, even Shawn Michaels, DX. These guys in the beginning of the show used to stroll out in street clothes. And you remember The Rock coming out with, the $1 million loafers on
Yeah.
and the freaking $1,000 shirts and shit. That's what a guy like Roman Reigns should do. He should strut out in something, completely different, and then when the time comes for him to wrestle, have him wrestle in just the Shield pants, just the tactical pants or whatever. But he needs to have an identity. He needs to be relatable. The number one thing about Roman Reigns is he's not relatable. Just like John Cena. He's a fucking. They're trying to build him as a superhero. That's what you do to a heel. You do that with a guy
Yeah.
like Ryback. You make him unrelatable so nobody can get behind him. Nobody can say, hey, that guy's like me. No. Roman Reigns needs to be relatable. They need to build him that way, and I hope they do. I hope something's changed.
I absolutely agree 100% with you on that. A lot needs to be done with Roman Reigns before he does get that big push. A lot of veterans of the industry say he's not ready for this big push, and it's clear that he isn't. And if we don't see something change when he comes back, there could be a lot of backlash from the fans when that does happen. But we're into overtime here now, and it's time for everybody's favorite part of the show, the final thoughts and letter grade for Monday Night Raw. So, Aussie, I'm going to send it over to you.
All in all, I don't want to give the show that difficult of a grading or that tough of a grade. I think the past couple of weeks, we've really seen some pretty solid Raws. Today, I think that came to a screeching halt, to be
Mhm.
honest with you. And that's a shame because it's a go home episode of Raw. That shouldn't happen ever. This should have been the high point of the last couple of weeks. Um, as far as the letter grade goes, I'm going to give it a C.
Not a bad grade. I definitely see where you're coming from there. It's been noticeable in the past when they do a go home show, they don't always drive the point home for the pay per view, and it seems like they did it again with this week's go home show, and it's disappointing because, like you said, the past few weeks have been good, have been building up towards something, and then we got tonight's show and it kind of fell flat. The match placement wasn't really that great. We got a lot of filler stuff, and that's what bugged me. We got a lot of filler matches, a lot of filler segments and promos. It didn't really flow as naturally as the past few weeks have. So, for that reason, I'll give it a C plus because it was all right, but it could have been 10 times better than it was, especially being a go home show.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. Go home is supposed to be the top of the line shit. Unfortunately, I'm in agreement with you. It just wasn't what it should have been tonight.
Absolutely, and I'm sure we'll hear what Matt has to say on Before the Bell on Friday. And speaking of that, speaking of our show, speaking of our YouTube channel, Aussie, it's time for you to shoot on the sharpshoot and tell people what they can expect this week.
This week, man, Survivor Series picks. We're going to go through it. We're going to break down the upcoming pay-per-view, and I guarantee you the go-home episode of the Sharpshoot is going to be a hell of a lot better than the go-home episode of Raw. Always is. We will be live once again. We're trying to switch to the format of live here for the Sharpshoot. Reason being, like to get with you guys, the viewers, a little bit more of a fan experience on the show. So tune in this Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, for you jabronis that watch from across the pond. Figure it out. I don't know the time difference. 7 p.m. on the eastern coast of the U.S. So whatever that means for you guys, have your alarm clocks on your smartphones and in your mother's bedrooms. Anywhere you've got a clock, set your oven, set your microwave, set the alarms. 7 p.m. Eastern Time this Thursday. We're taking our Survivor Series picks. And right now, you guys can take to Facebook or Twitter. Let us know any other topics that you want to talk about on the show. Who knows? Might even have this jabroni Alec back on the show.
Might. I was on last week, guys. It was a great show.
Yeah, if you haven't seen last week's show, go subscribe to our page. Check out the show. We had a little bit of a show to remember the late, great Eddie Guerrero. We talked about Eddie Guerrero and his career and what could have been or what would have been if he was still with us today. So if you're down with Eddie Guerrero, show some respect and go watch last week's episode of Sharpshoot.
Absolutely. That's what you got to do, guys. And then there's Before the Bell. It might not be on Friday because, Before the Bell, it's a week of the pay-per-view, so you might get it on Sunday this week, get the predictions from Matt. It's a great show. Guess what, guys? You've been slacking. I need you guys to go after this show, watch the Sharpshoot, watch Before the Bell. Give Matt a listen. Come on, guys. It's a great show. Does a lot of good stuff. This week, he did some comedy. It was hilarious. I laughed my ass off. It was a great show. He makes a lot of great points. You guys are going to love it. It's a great show. Stop slacking. It's rope break wrestling. It's the lifestyle, as Matt would say. And he's
And as
not
Matt
here.
would say, if you don't tell your friends about this shit, you're just being a bad friend.
Absolutely, you're a terrible friend. You're a horrible friend. I wish I had a recording that I could play that every time. If not here, we can at least play his PSA to everybody that you're a horrible, terrible friend if you're not talking about rope break wrestling. And that leads to the next point, and this is the last time I believe I have to make this announcement because we're so close. We're almost there. Listen, rope breakers. On Sunday, it's the big giveaway. WWE 2K15 for the console of your choice. If we reach 3,000 likes, we are 7 likes away, guys.
Check
7.
that. Check that. We are, I believe now,
Oh,
six
snap.
show's been on because, Alec, this show's so badass. We're now 6 likes away.
Oh, man, we are 6 likes away. That's it. 6. If we get 3,000, the contest is open. You could win. But if not, we keep it. We keep it for ourselves. We play it. That's it. You don't get to enjoy it.
And
You
how
don't get
shitty
to.
would it be? How shitty would it be if we fall 5 or less likes off of 3,000, and then after the show, after Survivor Series, we hit 3,000, and you guys just fucked up? All you have to do is go tell 6 of your friends to like this page, and you'll have a shot at winning fucking a brand new unopened copy of WWE 2K15 for free. It's that easy, Alec.
For free. I'm sure if that happens, Matt's going to quit like he always does. He quits every week. It always happens. I know some of you are sitting there right now. You already went to GameStop, EB Games, whatever fucking store you go to get your game, and you're bitching and moaning saying, well, I already got my game. Why do I want to get it for free? Well, I'll tell you why you want to get it for free. You know why? Because you're going to pay $64 and change for that game. And guess what? You know what you could do with that? You go get yourself a subscription to the WWE Network so you don't have to watch shitty sports streams to watch the pay-per-views. You can get it in beautiful HD quality, people. So stop your bitching, get into this contest, and you could be one of the winners. And if you don't want to win it, fine. Tell your friends that they could win it. That's all you got to do is tell your friends. When we get there, 3,000 likes, WWE 2K15 is yours. I think I'm done laying into the rope breakers here. I know Matt usually likes to do that, but again, he's not here, so we gotta pick up the slack, and hopefully he's back next week. We never know anymore. He's all over the place. He's give or take. We don't know. But this has been another episode of React After Raw. We're always here every single Monday night, immediately following Monday Night Raw. The Sharpshooter is always live now on Thursdays at 7 p.m. And the usual spot for Before the Bell is Fridays around noon-ish. So make sure you guys always check those shows out after you're done here. Go to our page, like, share, subscribe to that bitch. Make it happen. Watch the shows. Give us your support. And if you're already supporting us, we appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. We love you guys. For everyone here at Rope Break, I'm Alec. That's Aussie. Rope Break is a lifestyle. And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you. Rope Break.
Break.
Good night, everybody.